Viewers, you're watching the Explosive Exclusive with me, Rahul Shivshankar, and there's big news coming in as usual, viewers. As usual, breaking here first, video evidence on your screens now of clashes that we saw overnight, yesterday, in Khargone, Madhya Pradesh. Clashes marred Ram Navami celebrations across the country on Sunday, but in Khargone, Madhya Pradesh, it is what happened the day after that has generated a bigger controversy. We'll come to that in just a few moments. It all started when stones were pelted at a Ram Navami procession, leading to violent clashes, arson, and violence broke out. Look at these pictures on your screens. Let's go full screen to them, viewers. You can see pitched battles in the streets. Look at the way the streets are littered with debris, stones, and you can see a large number of individuals throwing stones at a procession, leaving several injured, including several policemen. Several houses and vehicles were set on fire, and not just stones and arson, bullets might have been fired as well. Police claim that Khargone SP, the Superintendent of Police himself, Siddharth Chaudhary, has even sustained a gunshot wound in his leg. Now, how does that happen, viewers? Where did the arms come from? Where did the guns come from? To contain the situation, curfew had to be clamped in the entire area, and at least 84 people have been arrested so far, cutting across communities. But viewers, from what we are being told, it is really an incident that has marred Ram Navami celebrations in this particular part of Madhya Pradesh. Now, viewers, you're seeing these pictures on your screens. This is evidence. We have a lot of reactions coming in. First, listen to the reactions. Many reacting to these developments. Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister himself, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, hinted that his government would take strict action against those who were involved in stone-pelting, rioting and arson. His Home Minister, Narottam Mishra, also coming out and saying that as far as he's concerned, there will be absolutely no laxity in going after the miscreants. Listen in.
लेकिन चाहे सार्वजनिक संपत्ति हो, चाहे निजी संपत्ति हो, जितना नुकसान हुआ उसकी वसूली भी उनसे की जाएगी। मध्य प्रदेश पे हमने लोक एवं निजी संपत्ति को नुकसान का निवारण और नुकसानी की वसूली अधिनियम पारित किया है। क्लेम ट्रिब्यूनल का हम गठन कर रहे हैं, तो नुकसान का आकलन करके वो वसूली भी की जाएगी। कठोरतम दंड दिया जाएगा जो उदाहरण बन जाए। हम किसी दंगाई को छोड़ेंगे नहीं।
पत्थर फेंकने वाले भूल गए कि ये मध्य प्रदेश है, और जहां से पत्थर आए हैं वो घर अब पत्थर के मलबों में तब्दील हो जाएंगे। ये मध्य प्रदेश है, यहाँ शांति भंग हम किसी को भी नहीं करने देंगे। 77 लोग गिरफ्तार भी हो चुके हैं और तह तक हम आज पहुंच जाएंगे। ये जो लोग टुकड़े टुकड़े गैंग की स्लीपर सेल है ना, ये वो है। राहुल गांधी सबसे पहले गए थे, आपने देखा होगा, नारे लगे थे JNU। एक ट्वीट नहीं आया। करौली की घटना पे उनकी सरकार थी कांग्रेस की, एक ट्वीट नहीं आया आज तक। एक बार निंदा नहीं की उन्होंने। ये वही क्रोनोलॉजी चली आ रही है। ये 5 राज्यों की जो हार है ना, वो उकसाने का काम कर रही। कैसे शांति देश की भंग हो, सिर्फ एक ही दिशा में बढ़ रहा है इसका ध्यान।
Well, you heard the Chief Minister, full of intent, and right after that, viewers, right after that, Khargone administration took to implementation. JCB machines were deployed and buildings reportedly belonging to the accused, the riot accused, were bulldozed. Let's show those pictures. There you can see them. Number of JCBs targeting establishments that are allegedly linked to the culprits. Obviously, an action such as this, viewers, is raising eyebrows, forcing many people to ask questions. Let's open this up. Govind on the ground and of course Padmaja here to give us a quick perspective on this. Padmaja, first to you. What we are seeing really is the government trying to underline the message that it is zero tolerance for riots, especially in the context of sensitive festivals. But many people are questioning this. Why?
Well, the question being asked is about whether this is kangaroo justice, where within 24 hours of the stone pelting taking place, already action has been taken. In fact, the Home Minister of Madhya Pradesh has said that these are 50 plus houses that we have identified from the houses from where stone pelting took place on the procession. Also keep in mind, Rahul, that in 2021, the Madhya Pradesh government had passed a law that allowed them to recover the damages that have been done to public property by anyone who engages in rioting from the rioters themselves. So the government basically is saying that not only is this a penalty to those who have engaged in arson or stone pelting, but that public property, if destroyed or defaced, it will be the people responsible who will have to pay.
Okay, stay on with me. How are these residences, homes, shops, establishments identified? Let's go across to Govind. Govind, ये identification का जो process था, जो पुलिस ने adopt किया है, इसके बारे में आप थोड़ा हमें बताएं. Viewers, it's very controversial at some levels. What you're really seeing on your screens are bulldozers that have been unleashed. Now, many people are asking on what basis has guilt been presumed or established. Govind there with us. Govind, identification का जो process है, इसके बारे में थोड़ा बताइए, क्योंकि 24 घंटे भी नहीं हुए हैं और बुलडोजर्स बाहर निकाल दिए गए हैं और वो बुलडोजर्स उनके घर को टारगेट कर रहे हैं जहां से पथराव हुआ. अब ये कैसे हुआ, आइडेंटिफिकेशन प्रोसेस, इसके बारे में थोड़ा बताएं.
एब्सोल्युटली राहुल, यू नो दैट कि जब भी कर्फ्यू कहीं भी किसी भी सिटी में इम्पोज किया जाता है तो पहली प्रायोरिटी होती है कि शांति व्यवस्था को कैसे भी इंस्टॉल किया जाए. लेकिन मध्य प्रदेश के खरगोन में जब ये घटना हुई उसके 12 घंटे बाद ही कार्रवाई शुरू हो गई. 85 लोगों को पहचान लिया गया, अरेस्ट कर लिया गया, उनकी दुकानें मकान को ढहाना शुरू कर दिया गया. और जो सीएम शिवराज सिंह चौहान जो सुबह साफ निर्देश दे चुके थे, खुद गृह मंत्री नरोत्तम मिश्रा ने कहा था कि जहां से पत्थर आए हैं उन घरों को पत्थरों में तब्दील कर दिया जाएगा. तो काफी अटैकिंग टेम्परामेंट्स के साथ में जो इंस्ट्रक्शंस होम मिनिस्टर और चीफ मिनिस्टर से मिले थे, वैसी तस्वीर वहां देखने को मिली. जो लोकल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, चाहे तो डीआईजी हो या फिर कमिश्नर हो, सभी मौके पर मौजूद थे. और कर्फ्यू के दौरान ही ये तमाम दुकानें ढहा दी गई. दिग्विजय सिंह ने सवाल उठाए हैं कि क्या प्रॉपर जांच हुई है. मांग की है दिग्विजय सिंह ने कि पहले इसमें एक प्रॉपर जांच हो, उसके बाद ही कड़ी कार्रवाई हो और दोषियों को पहचान कर उसके अनुसार सजा दी जाए. लेकिन ये क्या नहीं लगता कि बहुत जल्दी इस तरह की कार्रवाई शुरू हो चुकी है? किसके आदेश के तहत और किस पैमाने पर ये चीजें सिद्ध की गई कि ये दोषियों के ही मकान हैं, यही वो लोग हैं जिन्होंने दंगा भड़काने में ये एक समस्या खड़ी की थी?
ठीक है,
सवाल
आप हमारे साथ बने रहिए. मैं पद्मजा, let me go across to Padmaja Joshi also. Padmaja Joshi, just talk us through the original initial event and how it unfolded. We're seeing members of the community hurling stones here. What led to all of this?
Well, actually, it has been a very tense last 24 hours because across at least 6 to 8 states, pretty much the same allegations, and it's always a case of allegation and counter allegation. But pretty much what is being said right now, what is being determined, is that there were processions being taken out on Ram Navami. It passed through a communally sensitive areas. Now, the allegation of one side is that communally sensitive slogans were raised. There is a video doing the round which says that loud chants were made, Jai Shri Ram slogans were there. It was close to a mosque, and which is when the stone pelting started. In the case of Khargone itself, in fact, we have images where stones are being pelted. The scenes on your screen right now, where actually people have been captured pelting stones at one side, which is when the police ultimately had to fire tear gas shells. And this pretty much is the sequence of events across most of the places, whether it be the case of Kolar earlier in Karnataka, or it be Khargone in Madhya Pradesh, or it be Havda in West Bengal, or Himmatnagar in Gujarat.
Well, Padmaja, the BJP has come out and said that, look, when the opposition incites violence in their speeches, then this is then people are going to take a cue. They've cited Rahul Gandhi. He said, and this is Sambit Patra of the BJP, if such a senior leader speaks like this, then these violent clashes are bound to happen. We know how clashes have been reported from different parts of the country. This is because of statements made by politicians like Rahul Gandhi. What is he referring to?
He was actually referring to day before yesterday when Mr. Gandhi was participating in a book release function on the Dalit Truth, the book called the Dalit Truth, where he was relating an incident of what happened earlier in Gujarat a few years ago, where some Dalit youth were actually stripped and beaten by upper caste men. And relating that incident, Mr. Gandhi said that subsequent to this whipping, other Dalit youth, 11 of them consumed pesticide and tried to commit suicide. I went to meet them. I asked them, why did you do this? They said that we could not bear the humiliation of being insulted in this fashion, and out of that humiliation, we consumed pesticide. Mr. Gandhi then said that I told him that had I been in your place, before I took my own life, I would have stabbed the person who humiliated my friend in this fashion. And that comment of Rahul Gandhi is what the BJP has latched onto today, saying that you encouraged violence and this is the outcome.
This is the outcome. Well, viewers, very, very intense nationwide debate, because as Padmaja was saying, it wasn't just Khargone. Look at your screens now. Huge number of locations across 6 to 7 states, Khargone to Kolar. Delhi at JNU witness clashes. Then there is, of course, on your screens, Sabarkanta, Anand, all these locations in Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, Bengal. So a large number of locations. Now, were they all a coincidence? Was this some larger plot by a hidden hand? We don't know, viewers. We have no clue right now. But as far as Khargone is concerned, viewers, the incident is regrettable. It is regrettable, and many people are adding now an overt communal color to all of this. Let's just play out what the BJP has had to say. Dr. Patra of the Bharatiya Janata Party held a press conference that sparked a war of words. Listen in. And after that, we will play out also Rakesh Gupta, who is the Inspector General of Khargone, right after that. Let's listen in first to Sambit Patra.
देखिए, बहुत दुखद विषय है, जैसे मैंने अभी कहा कि भगवान राम के नाम पर जिस प्रकार की राजनीति विपक्ष के कुछ नेता कर रहे हैं और जिस प्रकार का बयान विपक्ष के कुछ नेता भगवान राम के नाम में दे रहे हैं, जिसमें भगवान राम के अस्तित्व के ऊपर ही प्रश्न चिन्ह लगा रहे हैं, और उसी स्पीच में, उसी भाषण में हिंसा की बात भी कर रहे हैं कि कानून अपने हाथ में ले लेना चाहिए और अगर हिंसा फैलाना पड़े तो भी फैलाना चाहिए। ये राहुल गांधी जी का वक्तव्य कल का रहा है। तो स्वाभाविक रूप से जब इतने बड़े पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के नेता इस प्रकार के इमैच्योर बयान देंगे, इस प्रकार के इररिस्पॉन्सिबल बयान देंगे।
हाँ, इसका मुझे दुख है और इसकी पूरी जांच होना चाहिए। पुलिस प्रबंध नहीं था, पुलिस की तैयारी कुछ नहीं थी, और ये पूरी जवाबदारी पुलिस प्रशासन की है, स्थानीय प्रशासन की है, जिसकी वजह से ये सब घटना हुई है। मैं सभी से शांति की अपील करता हूँ।
Well, let me once again quickly go across to Padmaja. Padmaja, the striking, I don't know what else to call it, but perhaps double standards being adopted here by the Congress. The former Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Digvijay Singh says all the responsibility must lie at the Chief Minister's door because adequate security was not provided. We have been doing an investigation with regards to Rajasthan, where in Karoli, similar visuals played out. Once again, on a holy day for the Hindu community, or at least a significant day for the Hindu community, there also there were clashes. We showed pictures of, number one, how there was inadequate police deployment despite warnings being issued to the state administration. And more than that, it appeared that the police were completely abetting in the rioting. So can you put this into perspective?
Absolutely. So either the Congress has to decide whether it is the Chief Minister's responsibility or if it is miscreants taking the law in their hands, and the police can only react. Because if that is the case, what is very interesting, it's interesting you mentioned Karoli, because today on the back of our sustained 5-day investigation, Rahul, the Bharatiya Janata Party actually came out and said that not only was the violence in Karoli not prevented, but it was actively abetted, and subsequent to that violence, now there is a mass exodus of the Hindu community from Karoli because they have a sense of insecurity, and even instilling a sense of security in the Hindu community is not being done by the government in power in Rajasthan. So the obvious double standards that you're talking about can be spelled out just from there itself. If the prevention cannot be there, at least to instill a sense of security to ensure that people now feel that they are going to get justice is the sole responsibility of the Rajasthan government.
Quickly, thanks indeed, Padmaja, for that, putting that into perspective. Yes, viewers, certainly disturbing. No one wants to, at any level, whitewash violence, but there is a tendency in our political establishment, in different parts, different factions, different ideological affiliated political parties, to try and whitewash violence because it suits their narrative selectively. Now, I want us to listen to Rakesh Gupta, who is the Inspector General of Khargone. Now, viewers, he says force had been deployed at most places, but they weren't prepared for this. But now they're going to re-establish the rule of law by ensuring accountability. Listen to this.
क्षेत्रों में हमारा बल लगा है और लगातार उपद्रवी तत्वों के खिलाफ हम कार्रवाई कर रहे हैं। इसमें किसने कमी की, किसने बेची की, ये सब चीज़ें अभी हमारी बाद में हमारी जांच में आएंगी, तब आपको हम इस चीज़ को बताएंगे। लेकिन पहला दायित्व तो हम शहर को एक शांति का वातावरण देना चाहते हैं और उसके लिए हमारी कार्रवाई जारी है।
Well, let's just open this up. Charu Pragya and Mita Chakraborty with us, a political analyst. Thank you very much for joining this broadcast. Ms. Chakraborty, look, I am not in a position right now to call out who is guilty, who was the agent provocateur, who started this first, but certainly these violent incidents cutting across states, at least 6-7 states saw this. Many people are saying that this is not a coincidence, that this was planned, that there was an attempt to target those who are the disciples of Ram, sully the festival. How do you respond to this charge that the BJP has made?
Okay, good evening to all your viewers.
Good evening.
Firstly, violence of any form needs to be condemned, right?
Yeah.
So violence happening, especially in communally sensitive areas, needs to be condemned, and there has to be a fact-finding mission. The facts need to be established, and whoever is responsible needs to be held accountable, and they need to be convicted. However, what we have seen in Madhya Pradesh is, I really do not understand on what basis were certain properties being bulldozed within 24 hours. I do not understand as how the justice process is really playing out there, because you have an incident of communal tension or violence, and then immediately how is the process of identifying people who are responsible has been taken place, and right after that you actually have people bulldozing properties. I mean, there is a court, there is a process. If people are, I think around 70 or 73 people have been arrested, then they need to be tried in a court of law. There has to be a process of justice, and at the end of it, it is for the court to decide what the quantum of punishment will be. I really do not understand what is happening.
Sure.
We are not a banana republic. This cannot be handled with justice.
I completely agree with you. That needs to be established. There has to be due process. But, my question was slightly larger. I'm going to show you 10 pictures here. 10 pictures in one frame. And you see the spread. Now, east to west, as far down as Karnataka, there has been violence. Up to the north, even JNU, the campus, restive at ordinary times, exploded in an orgy of violence on Ram Navami. My question was very simple. Do you believe that there was a larger conspiracy to target the community because they were observing a day which is extremely holy to them. I'm just asking a simple, basic question.
And I will give you a very simple, straight answer. I will not indulge in speculation, and I will not indulge in promoting conspiracy theories.
Okay.
I would say anyone who is participating in any violence, in any form of violence, be it violence post the incident or be it violence during the time of riot, need to be punished as per the law of the land.
So you don't see this as part of a grand design that there has been widespread violence.
I do not have any evidence
Charu Pragya,
to suggest
there
that
is no evidence. Where is the evidence? Says Mita Chakraborty. Where's the evidence? Why is your political party making these claims across the board? Go ahead.
You know, Rahul, if we went the Mita Chakraborty way, even Kasab would be alive today and we would be investigating.
Please.
So the fact is that these stone pelters must have been caught on camera.
Okay.
They were caught
she didn't interrupt you. Now, let her just finish.
I did not interrupt you. I did not interrupt you.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
The method Madhya Pradesh government has adopted is the correct one. It is a leaf out of Uttar Pradesh government's book, because you remember Yogi ji started out with a no tolerance policy towards the intolerance. He said that if you are going to behave in an intolerant manner, right here, damage public property, I will ensure that you and your property pays for it. Why should the government and the taxpayers suffer? So today, the same thing is happening in Madhya Pradesh, and I'm very proud of our government for taking this stand. Well done, because this time we saw Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Jharkhand, Gujarat, Bengal, even Delhi. These incidents were repeated all over the country, but not in Uttar Pradesh. Another thing I want to say is, those who talk about secularism today, you are secularists for 365 days when the azan is blaring out of loudspeakers. You are secularists for 30 days of iftihari that is happening right now. You are even a secular when these violent Muharram processions take place. One day of Ram Navami and you have to call it communal. Look at the double standards. Look at the way you are taking our country in the most wrong direction possible.
Well, viewers, you heard two sides here. We're not standing in judgment right now. The fact is that eyebrows have been raised because the bulldozers have been sent in. Many people are saying, where's the due process? How did you establish guilt? How do you know that these people whose houses have been razed actually participated in the rioting just because their houses were used? To target the procession doesn't necessarily mean that they were in control of the circumstances. Now, viewers, there are, of course, many wheels within wheels. But what we're seeing is what the BJP claims is a zero-tolerance approach. They've also come out and said the law allows them to do this. Laws have been passed to punish those by making them pay for damage to public property, etc., etc.